Hi everyone. I wanted to show you a really cool function that I have found extremely useful in BuzzView. I think that for all of us working in marketing and trying to keep up with AI now being so predominant in terms of how people are discovering brands, it can just feel a little overwhelming at times. And I thought this might be useful. So, in my mind, it's still kind of good ads and marketing equals success for a brand, but I am, of course, as most of us, I think, increasingly noticing how the strength of a brand name is just not enough anymore. So I have been using BuzzView a lot to analyze AI answers and try to figure out how specific brands are doing compared to their competitors. But I was sometimes getting a little bit stuck on the next steps of how to then take action on those results. But now there's this feature in BuzzView called Brand Report. And I am honestly using it for everything. So I wanted to just demonstrate it here. And for that, I used a well-known brand, Victoria's Secret. And you can see also on the right side here that I have already done a sort of mock-up presentation based on this brand report. And it was just to show you how downloading this and then using a tool like Notebook LM means that you can bring the results directly back to the client, and it will only take you a couple of minutes to create all of this. So we can either imagine that Victoria's Secret are really the customer I'm working for, or we just treat this as I'm wanting to get a market overview of the lingerie market in the US. And so I have then first gone through the regular steps of creating a project based around the one brand, Victoria's Secret. And then I've entered some more overarching prompts for this specific project to sort of better capture the full market, as opposed to prompts that are specifically related to this one brand, which you might do if you want to understand more about how this brand is positioning itself against competitors. And then when I've gone to the brand report, I've then clicked regenerate report because I already ticked generate this report when I started the project. And I have then added in a new prompt here, and I've asked it to give me more of an overview of the specific market, and I've prompted it to look at users' prompts and questions to AI and how AI responds to that. And the results here are actually super interesting, and I find them extremely valuable. And so, yeah, I've just done regenerate report. For now, I'm going to do cancel because I already did this step. And I've then ended up with this full report here, which I'm going to take you through quickly. I think that these answers that I have found out from this report, they're so useful in order to be able to go back to my client and being able to provide them with some really clear answers. So if we look here, we can see that the brand report is telling us that while Victoria's Secret holds value as a known brand, it often refers to it as a legacy brand, it has mass market for mall shoppers mainly. It is not actually performing particularly well in AI answers compared to some of the competitors. And the reason for that is the ambiguous positioning of this brand, which is also brought up here, and you can see it. It's very clearly explained here. If you just read the verdict, it will say, to win AI recommendations, brands must own a specific niche attribute rather than attempting to be a generalist. I've now found out something extremely important. Okay, the brand in this case, it's too ambiguous, it's too general. It holds legacy, but it actually isn't being recommended that often by AI. And the reason is that a lot of the users are entering very specific prompts or questions when they are looking for lingerie or what to buy, what would be best for them. It just means that some of the other brands, they are doing much better in their specific niche. While Victoria's Secret might be viewed as a sexy underwear brand, a lot of people are searching for sustainable or brands that do specific sizing or a specific type of comfort and so on. Some of these other brands are doing much better at positioning themselves as this type of brand, and therefore they are being mentioned more often by AI in these types of answers and being recommended in a positive way. Then the brand report tells me something else, which I also find extremely important and useful, meaning it's actually doing a source gap analysis. So it's telling me there's a gap in the market here that could be filled. Now, how great is that? Because in a matter of minutes, I, as a marketeer who wants to help this new lingerie brand establish themselves in the US market, or I'm wanting to help one brand in particular perform better in AI answers, I've now figured out both what is crucial to being noticed in a positive way by AI in this industry, and I've figured out what can we lean into in order to stand out from other brands. So by seeing here what is missing in the market, like what's not being targeted, in this instance, we can see here a lot of the brands are completely invisible when it comes to health related queries. So people who are have had a mastectomy and are looking for underwear for that specific purpose, there's no real brand in the lingerie sector that has positioned themselves well or at all for this. It means that by seeing here what is missing in the market, I know that there's a way for this brand to become more successful and get mentioned and recommended a lot by AI. And that is, you need to leave this ambiguous positioning behind, and you need to lean into something that the other brands are not currently offering or not offering well. And in this case, that would be adaptive or health-driven lingerie. And so, like I said, what I've then done is I've read through this very quickly. Wow, this is great results. Then I've exported this, and I then just dropped it into Notebook LM, asked for a presentation, and we can see here that I've come up with just a very straightforward sort of sharing of the results. This is what it's saying. These are the competitors that are doing better. Why are they doing better? And what are we not doing so well? And I would be comfortable bringing this back to the client, presenting the results, and based on this, coming up with the strategy for how to improve the brand visibility in AI answers. And I've done all this with BuzzView. For a later time, I could also tell you about the optimizer, which we have here, which would also then help you come up with the right content. But I really just wanted to show you this feature because I think it's so useful, and I think a lot of people could really benefit from trying this out. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much.